Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do a video on how to change out your dually tire on this Sprinter Van 3500 chassis with the dual rear wheels. Even if you don't plan on changing your tires ever like me and have a service like CoachNet or Good Sam, I think I can point out a couple of good tips if you ever run into this circumstance. I know I have personally ran into it. In my circumstance, it was in an area in a very small town in the middle of Wyoming. And I did get a hold of CoachNet, but their service was so far away, I actually had this tire changed out before their customer service rep even called me back. I did run into a little bit of a hiccup, and if you watch this video, I'll show you what I ran into and how you can prevent it. First, let's start with the accessories that the View comes with. In the passenger side, in this compartment, there's a jack that sits in here. You pull the jack out, it's one of those bottle jacks. Not the most safe, but I guess in a pinch it would do. And then of course, these are the actual, I don't know, we'll call them the arms for the jacks. The other thing too, not shown in your manual, but it is shown on the verbiage wise, is in the passenger footwell. If you actually, you'll have to take a screwdriver and just loosen these. It's just a 90-degree turn. Inside the footwell here, what you will see is some accessories, some tools. You will see the front tow hook here, a screwdriver here. This pulls out, the flat side is on the opposite side. And then it looks like there's a Torx bit here. Again, reversible. It'll fit inside this screwdriver, both positions. And then they also have this little box wrench. Looks like it's a 16 and 19 millimeter. I actually don't even know what this is for. It does fit some of the big bolts, even the lug nuts, but you can't really use this for the lug nuts. Inside, then if you actually lift up this a little more, you're going to see the actual accessories for removing the tires, the tire iron we'll call it. So in the instructions it has the tire iron is that this would fit on the lug nut, and then this piece here would of course go inside here like that, and you can put two of the arms together. I already assembled them together. They just click together and they go on here like that. So in theory that's what you would use. Not the best. It's very hard with the leverage, and look at the length of this. I'm going to go back. The front tires are probably doable, but the big issue is really the dual tires in the back. If we go to the back, I have the back wheels already prepped, but in order to take this wheel off, you have to remove these covers. These are the lug nut covers, and they're really hard to take off. You can't take these off by hand. And my suggestion is make sure you have some type of pliers on hand in your vehicle. I put some electrical tape on here so it doesn't scratch it off, but you'll have to put it on here and of course wiggle them off. Once you get to that point, the big issue with these Winnebagos are the wheel wells. You can see how far they are set back from the body itself. What that creates is when you want to actually use this lug wrench here, the problem you run into is that it actually, by the time you turn it, it bottoms out on the body, and on top of it, this is not much leverage. It's actually, I tried this. These lug nuts are on there pretty tight. This is almost beyond my capability of loosening these. Of course, there'd be much more stress if you're on the side of the road somewhere where there's a little more dangerous. It would even be tougher. So this would be almost impossible. And like I mentioned, it actually bottoms out on the body all along this body. This piece here is not deep enough. What I would suggest, and this happened to me on my last trip, I actually ended up having a flat, but I was not prepared for it because I only had this with me. What I would suggest, of course, is an actual extension. So this is 2 extensions. And what I have here is, so by the time you have the 2 extensions, you clear the body. And then on top of it, you should have a torque wrench with you anyways. This is the other item that I would carry with you, is by the time you connect these, let me see if I can stage these just a minute here. Now, if you look, you will see that I cleared the body completely, and it's a much longer, bigger wrench, so you can actually torque it. It's a lot easier to take off these lug nuts. Again, I think this would have been fine if you had a plain dually van without the recessed wheels. And that's what the manual, I don't think the manual ever thought that somebody would actually build an RV out this wide. And this was never set up for something like this. So completely, almost useless. You can't even add on pieces to make this longer because it's a, I don't know, it's a custom piece. So if you look here, I have a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench, 2 extensions. I didn't do the measurements on these, but I'm sure you can figure that part out. And the actual socket here, what fits on these lug nuts is 3/4 inch, and the 19 millimeter also fits on there snug perfectly. So 3/4 or 19 millimeter, and that will get you at least to get the wheels off. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to remove these lug nuts using this. Basically, I'm physically using this torque wrench. It doesn't need to be a torque wrench. You know, you could use a breaker bar, but instead of carrying 2 devices, this torque wrench will do with these extensions. So let me show you how easy it is now that we have an actual proper wrench on here. Well, I have all the blocks installed, as well as a secondary jack stand right here. I will say, safety wise, you know, this is pretty dangerous working in these environments, so do at your own risk. Obviously use some caution. I have these leveling jacks, which many RVs will not have, so that's a big help on assisting with taking these tires off. Now that I have the lug nuts loose, I can just take this extension rod and let me move some stuff out of the way. Move the camera back. And we should be able to just pull this off of here just like that. And we'll roll this wheel away. And then on the inner dually, we'll do the same thing. Just need to break it off just like that. And now you can get a visual of what we are working with here. So once that's done, you can change out the wheel easily. Hope that answers any questions you have. This will save you some, hopefully if this does happen to you on the side of the road, gives you a quick shortcut and or a simple refresh how to do this. Overall, not very complicated, but this is all sitting in my driveway, nice and easy, without the stress of cars driving by. All right, well, we are all wrapped up. Now we have the tire back on. And I hope this video showed you that even if you have Good Sam service or CoachNet, that you may be in a little bit of a bind if you're not prepared. And there are circumstances that you may run into where you may have to change the tire yourself. Or even if you're not physically capable of it, if you at least have all the tools, you can always find somebody to help you out. I hope this video helped, and if you like videos like this, I have many more to come, so please hit the thumbs up, click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.